Hello, Joseph here. I'm a musician, I'm a composer, and I love talking about music right here on this channel for your eyeballs to consume. So today, I wanted to do a slightly shorter video and talk about the player piano. For those who don't know, the player piano is a type of piano that can play music on its own. It doesn't need a human performer to press the keys and can do so by itself. For the majority of history, if you wanted to hear music, you would need performers to play it for you, or you'd need to play it yourself, and in order to do that, you would need plenty of money. But the advent of the player changed all that, and laid the groundwork for all the free and accessible music that we have today. So that's what I'll be talking about in this video. Please like the video, please subscribe, please leave a comment, say hi, tell me how you're feeling, and I will respond. I respond to every single comment I get. I like comments, I like a chat. Let's go. The piano itself was invented around the 17th century, developing out of other keyboard instruments that came before, like the organ, the clavichord, and the harpsichord. The organ would be the first keyboard to be automated. Organs are essentially lots of various pipes connected to bellows, which, when keys are pressed, blow air through the pipes and create sound. This was found to be much easier to automate than pianos, as organs mechanically are arguably a lot simpler. Pianos are built from lots of tricky strings and hammers, all precariously woven together in a very fragile construction, whereas organs have very few moving parts and are built in churches intended to last for a very long time. The first automatic pianos would appear in the 19th century in what are called barrel pianos. Grinders would turn a handle round and round, and this mechanical action would cause hammers to strike strings in the instrument. However, unlike normal pianos with human performers, barrel pianos couldn't vary the amount of force the hammers applied. This means that barrel pianos have a very un-piano-like sound, sounding more like a metal stringed guitar than the classic keyboard. Moving forward, and with the advent of steam power, people were becoming aware of the ability for pneumatics to do hard mechanical work for us. Inventors realized that instead of continuously turning a handle, they could use pumps and bellows to twist gears which pressed keys, which made sound. Some of the first pneumatic player pianos were shown in the Philadelphia World's Fair in 1876. There were loads of different designs on display that individual inventors had patented, all with their own idiosyncrasies and all designed to be incompatible with the others, so as to force you to buy only their products. Kind of like printers. However, one of these prototypes was the pianista, which is considered an early ancestor of the true player piano. Now we jump forward to the turn of the 20th century. Many different types of automated pianos had appeared, some with handles and crankshafts, some with bellows that you press with your feet. But it was at this point that all the different designs were beginning to coalesce, and the first true player piano, the pianola, appeared. The pianola had a massive advertising campaign and was extremely expensive. At the time, around 1900, one pianola costed $250. That's about $7,700 in today's money. And if you donate just $2 a month to my Patreon, I might be able to afford one. Despite its obscene price, buyers, mostly rich, were fascinated by the new pianola, and it did very successfully right from its release. Piano rolls were little strings of card or metal which told the pianola which notes it should play and when. Thousands of these were developed in massive catalogues at the time, in all different genres of music, from ragtime to classical to even religious. Various musicians like Debussy and Scott Joplin would develop their own piano rolls. They would play one of their pieces into a pianola and it would encode their performance, all the little details of rhythm and dynamics, into a piano roll card. This means that today we can essentially listen to the original composers playing their own music. Interestingly, Debussy in his piano roll performance of Clair de Lune plays very quickly compared to the languid performances pianists give today. Perhaps his creative vision was different to how we interpret it nowadays, and we're missing some hidden meaning and emotion. Or perhaps he was just bored and trying to get the performance over and done with. The rise of the Jazz Age in America confirmed the popularity of the new player piano, as it allowed inaccessibly hard jazz tunes to be played in the home by rich amateurs. Also, along with the home player piano, the word roll was invented. This is similar to the standard piano roll, except it had printed lyrics in the margins, letting people sing along to the piano music, which was a very popular activity before radios and vinyls became a thing. Player pianos continued to become more and more complex throughout the 20th century, and with the rise of electronics and circuitry, the capacities of the player piano really came into full bloom. Older, disused players of the 20th century were revived and restored to their former glory, and the archaic pneumatic systems were replaced with batteries and motors. Composers of the late 20th century began to see the player piano as an opportunity to make art that had never been seen before. Conlon Nancarrow, a composer born in 1912 but only having achieved notoriety in the 80s, composed lots of pieces for the instrument. The human body can only do so much with a standard piano. We've only got 10 fingers and we can only play so fast before things go out of control. But automated pianos aren't governed by the fragile limitations of the human performer. Player pianos can be instructed to play any amount of notes, as fast as the composer likes, as often as they like, as hard as they like. And Nancarrow took great advantage of this in his Studies for Player Piano. These studies were completely inaccessible to human players, made up of very complex patterns and an oftentimes rhythmless bass. Generally, these compositions were directly written into piano roll, because to write them onto a standard staff would just end up creating something that looked like black MIDI, completely incomprehensible to only the most familiar with Nancarrow's work. With the appearance of computers in the 90s, player pianos have only gotten more sophisticated over time. Composers and performers can now completely forego the use of piano roll cards, instead choosing to beam the musical instructions written in MIDI directly into the piano's computer via Wi-Fi. Player pianos nowadays are still not massively accessible and are generally only used for show or displays of wealth. They remain very expensive. But honestly, I don't think that even matters. With computers, the idea of automated instruments has become almost obsolete. We now have notation software, DAWs, and programs that can do it all for us. The player piano, with its very high price, has ironically inspired the development of products that make music free. That was the original goal of the player piano, to make music accessible to everyone, even people who can't play or pay others to play for them. And I think it's achieved that goal. Thank you for watching this video. It was a short one, I know, but I hope you appreciated it nonetheless. Please like, subscribe, and leave a comment. I will respond. Love you, bye!